Welcome, Rotarians and guests, to the Rotary Club of York. This is the greatest Rotary Club I have ever been a member of. You can clap for that. It's okay. Yeah, we're not ashamed. Our motto is service above self, and we follow the four-way test. Lindsay, if you could put that on the board for me. Members, will you recite the four-way test? And that is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? That is fantastic. I love service. I love this community. I love Rotary, and I love being your president. So much that I wore my rah-rah Rotary tie to the meeting today. And that makes me your president, Aaron Jacobs. It's my pleasure to have you at our club today. Let's get our meeting going with a round of applause. Thank you. We have a great program for you today, but first we will enjoy our opening song, America the Beautiful, and the Pledge by Mike Osherman, followed by the invocation from Eric Chase and visitor introductions from Tom Calogero. Mike.
Please sing with me. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Pledge with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you prepare yourself in a way that you're most accustomed to prayer? God, our Creator, we come before you, and throughout history, you have given us examples of how we are to serve above ourselves, and to serve and not be served. We ask that you be with our district governor, Fred, today, as he shares about the district and Rotary International, as we all move to service above self. We thank you for this opportunity to gather as Rotarians in friendship and fellowship, and we ask you to bless this food that has the hands that have prepared it, the hands that have served it, that we may use it to nourish our bodies as we continue to serve in this world. And I ask that we remember all those who have tragically lost their lives on September 11th in our country, and as those who continue to fight for freedom. I just ask that we take a moment of silence to remember those that were lost. And we ask that you bless and hold all these things in the many names that we call you. Amen.
Today I've been volunteered to greet our guests. So I'm pleased to announce the following guests. When I call your name, please stay standing. And President Aaron. It was a slip, sorry. President Aaron will welcome you. Okay, our visiting Rotarians, Patrick Berry, Melissa Copsmith, and for our guests, Hai Bastari from Guest of Youth Exchange Committee, and Stephen Askling from Youth Exchange Committee.
The irony being is that the visitor introductions always struggle with Tom's name, and this is your chance to do it right. And you buffed it, man. No, I'm just kidding. I love Tom. Tom Calderone. Hey, guests, thank you for joining us today. We hope you found an outstanding lunch. I promise you an outstanding program and hope you made a couple friends and you come see us again. Members, please help me greet our guests. Let's do some announcements. The board of directors, you know who you are. By invitation only, we'll meet tomorrow via Zoom for our monthly board meeting. The IDEA committee, affectionately known as IDEA, will meet on September 18th. That's next week, 8 a.m. via Zoom. Now, on behalf of Rob Bowen, we really want to put a push on for a fellowship event that we have coming up on tomorrow evening. We have a few seats left on the boat trip on the Susquehanna River called the Chief Uncas. It's a restored electric boat built by Adolphus Bush that is operated by the Susquehanna National Heritage Area Group. The event is tomorrow at 4 o'clock and includes a 1-hour ride on the river, followed by a visit to the Zimmerman Center Museum. The cost is a mere $20. You can't even buy a candy bar for $20. And Rob is saying bring a guest because we've got room. So snag up these last few seats. And here's the deal. 2 weeks ago, you had a chance to come eat crabs with me. This week, you had a chance to play golf with me. If you missed that, now you can ride a boat with me. But it's not about me. It's about you having a good time with Rotarians. So please see Rob. Rob, raise your hand. There he is. Go see him about a boat ride. Thank you, Rob. On to the Rotary Foundation. So just a reminder, we have pledged a matching disaster grant of up to $2,500 for donations from members for the Maui fire relief. The donations go to the Hawaii Rotary District Fund, which has been established for this cause. If you've contributed already, thank you so much. And if you've not yet, there's still time. You can do that by using a credit card. I believe there's a QR code on your table to make it real easy. And if that doesn't work for you, talk to Lynn and send a check, and we'd like to do whatever we can for them. I just mentioned our golf tennis outing. Oh, sorry, golf, tennis, croquet, cornhole, pickleball, high five, coin flipping, silent auction event that we do every year. So that was on Monday, and we had a splendid and successful day. And I'm certain you're all anxious to hear the results that I have to share. I am pleased to announce today to this club that my foursome came in second place. And that was ahead of Doug Berman's foursome and past president Glenn Miller's foursome, Tom Calderone. And just like any president, I did very little of the work and I'm taking all the credit. But you may also want to know that we netted, drum roll, Lindsay, $58,000. For those of you keeping score and hopefully not on my golf game, that has been one of the most successful events we've had in the history of this club, thanks to you. I'd like to thank everybody who sponsored that event, who played or supported it in any way. I also want to thank Darren. I know Darren's here. Darren, raise your hand. Didn't I see Darren here? Well, see, now he misses all the glory. Well, Darren and Dee were really instrumental in putting this together. And I'd like to give a round of applause to them and their committee for the work that they did. So that's another one for the books for our club. I'm proud of how we did and how this will benefit our Continental Square project later this year. Thank you again. And now, with a little hesitation, I invite past President Al Sykes to the podium to talk about Ride to Eradicate Polio. Don't disappoint us, Al. Al.
I won't say this is the first mistake of your presidency. And Rob, we want to talk about cachet, okay? Your event is tomorrow. My event is in 40 days. I'm up here, you're not. How does that work? All right, I asked you all to remember a date a couple of weeks ago. I won't ask you if any of you remember that date, but I will remind you again, it is October the 22nd. Now, how many of you in this room, show of hands, have a bicycle? Okay. Now, how many of, no, keep your hands up. How many of you who have a bicycle have ridden it in the last 6 months? Yeah, okay. This is my target audience. This is your chance. Get that old bicycle down off the rack. Put about 60 pounds of pressure in the tire and do that today, because when you do that, the inner tube will burst and you'll need to go and get that fixed, but you have plenty of time to do that. This is going to be a nice leisurely ride. We're going to leave from the Lafayette Plaza in downtown, and we're going to ride down to the Howard Tunnel. And for those of you with a little extra courage, you can ride through the Howard Tunnel. And then you can stop and you can harass Sean and JT at Sean's farm on the way back, and maybe even get some free Good York water before you come back. And I do want to emphasize, talk about a nice, the whole round trip is 12 miles. And I ride about 6 minutes a mile, so it's not going to be that long. We're going to have people at Lafayette Park. We're going to have people at Brillhart Station. We're going to have people at Sean's farm. And so there's, plenty of opportunities to stop, relax along the way if you haven't been on that dusty old bicycle for quite a while. The point of this ride is to raise money for our ongoing fight against polio. Therefore, we are asking for a donation of $50, not to participate in the ride. That's free to everybody. But if you want a free, really, really cool t-shirt and all the wine and beer that you can drink that Rob's going to provide, that'll be left over from the boat ride today, you want to get registered. And I would encourage you to register, please, before the end of the month, which just makes it easier for me to order the t-shirts and get the sizes right. Now, everybody in this room gets a district newsletter every week. This article is, and I don't know why this is, Melissa, it's always at the bottom of the district. I hope we get elevated as time goes on. Okay, go to your district newsletter. You'll get another one in the next day or two, and you can click on that to register. It'll bring up the district website. But if you can't remember that, just remember Rotary 7390. That's the website address, and get on there and register to ride to eradicate polio on October 22nd. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. As president, I like to say I fully support this cause. I think it's a great idea, and I want to help generate membership to let you know that if you sign up, that does not obligate you to ride near or be seen with past President Al Sykes. So if that's holding you back, or do they have to? I'll stay at the parking lot. Okay. That joke didn't land. Heather Warner is going to give us a Communications Committee annual report. Heather, please join us at the podium.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. How's everybody doing? All right. So we have been working on the annual report. We release this obviously once a year, but I did want to just share some of the highlights with you all today. It is now posted on our website, so I'll show you where to find that in just a little bit. But first and foremost, just a big thank you to everybody that we asked to supply us with some photographs and some recaps for the year with your committee. So we sure do appreciate that. So what is in the annual report? Let's take a look. What's in the annual report? You're going to find the president's message. You're going to get an overview of what we've accomplished for the year. So if you're looking to join different committees, this is a wonderful space to be able to go see what the committees were up to with visuals. You also see our club's financial information and our leadership team. So just to kind of recap, I wanted to start with a message from past President Glenn. This small excerpt does a really nice job of encapsulating this past year. He said, the service we were able to render to our community and to the world throughout the past year was nothing short of amazing. Record-breaking fundraising during our 2 annual fundraising events, dozens of Rotarians engaged in direct service through our committees and task forces. It was, in short, a wonderful year. So let's take a look. And this is just a couple of pages out of the annual report I wanted to share with you. Community project fundraising, our 2022 Love for Community and Give Local events raised combined $54,000 to help with community needs. So take a look at that number we just shared with you. We did have a record year. That's phenomenal. Our fellowship committee, they do a lot of wonderful events, visits to local eateries and drinking venues, emphasizing the downtown York area. There you see President Glenn at Aviano's. And those are a couple of the other locations that they visited throughout the year. The Global Projects Committee focused on building a deeper relationship with our Ethiopian friends in Sandafa. Our club was happy to report that they awarded 2 grants from our annual budget to distribute food boxes to 250 families and to launch their bottle house latrine project, which leads to much more improved living conditions there. Our IDEA committee, they addressed some major needs that came out of those courageous conversations in 2021. They introduced some tactics to better engage new and current members to make the club more welcoming. They became much more active as volunteers, and all of us did in the city of York. We noted a few of those there. And they recognized heritage and identified months and days to educate members and to make the club atmosphere more inclusive. Our literacy committee, thanks to the incredible support of everyone in the club, we raised $2,000 and presented $500 to each of the 4 home-based early learning centers in the city of York. And some additional funds raised helped to serve children throughout the city with acquiring books and additional reading materials. The Little League, York City Little League was revitalized in part by grants from the Rotary Club of York. Our Little League committee helped prep the batting cages and assisted with construction of 2 new batting cages at 2 fields. And some individual Rotarians contributed to the construction of a new softball field at Noonan Park for 3 girls softball teams. And our PPE committee, dozens of new trees in downtown York, always supporting Envirothon through cooperative efforts with local companies. They've educated everybody about plastic and electronic recycling programs, and we were all involved with some of those as well. Caring for a section of the York County Rail Trail, along with the gateways to our city, those welcome gardens and the welcome to York signs. Youth development, very busy this year, or this past year, I should say. They had 3 Get Hooked on Fishing Days at Kiwanis Lake. 75 York City youth participated. We were able to provide them with fishing gear and t-shirts. We also partnered with the Advantage Program, funding and participating in teamwork-themed ropes course challenge events. Nearly 50 young men participated in that and had a phenomenal time. And they volunteer also 1 hour a week, every Wednesday, 4:30 to 5:30, a volunteer to help out with homework at Martin Library. So that's youth development. The Youth Leadership Committee this year, this past year, I need to keep pointing. Youth Leadership's efforts allowed our club to honor over 20 high school students through the Student of the Month program, 2 college students through the College Service Awards program, and they also had 6 of the students of the month attend the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards Conference. So great opportunity there. Really quick look at financials. We're not going to dig into this. This is online. You can check it out, but just a couple of highlights here. The Love for Community golf, tennis, croquet, pickleball, and cornhole event raised $54,204. Give Local was a $17,000 raise. Donations to the Literacy Committee combined with funds from the club's budget provided about $4,700 for reading projects. Preserve Planet Earth Kiwanis Lake project received $5,600 to complete the plan to have that lake function better and allow park visitors to see the impact that our club has on the community. And finally, the Charitable Endowment Fund granted $10,000 to York City Police Department's Gun Violence Initiative, $10,000 to My Choice to Change, $6,000 to Crispus Attucks, $2,500 to Bloom Empowerment, and $4,500 to Shiloh Baptist Church. This is just a snapshot of what is in the annual report. So I do encourage you all to take a look at that. You can find that if you just go to our website. It's there right now. If you go under resources, the 3rd tab down, annual reports, click on it, and there you'll find all of this information for you. And again, lots of great visuals there to see what the committees have been up to. One other real quick thing while I'm up here, I'm going to take a moment, a little opportunity here. How many of you have downloaded the Club Runner app? All right. There's some good opportunity here. So what I'm going to do is show you very quick a video on why you should download that app. It's a real quick video. All right, so those are just a few of the reasons. And I mean, it is super easy to download. I do have this pulled up here, but I'm not going to make you do it right at this very moment. You are going to see QR codes on your table right now. If you go to those QR codes, it's for the iPhone and it's also for the Android. Hit that up, download that app before the end of the meeting. There's a great potential there to be informed and to communicate with your fellow members. So please do that. All right, thank you. That's it. All right.
Thank you, Heather. I have two responses to that. In terms of that mobile app, I highly endorse that app. It is amazing. I'm on that app probably more than most of the apps I have on my phone. It is convenient. I actually like it better than the website. I like the website, but it's just right there in my hands. So get the app. She's correct about that. In terms of her overall message, I told you when I got up here that this is the greatest Rotary Club I have ever been a member of, and that tells you why. We are doing amazing things in this community, and it is service above self. We did that. A round of applause for ourselves. And now it's a great opportunity for me to introduce somebody special to you, and it's not Walt Tilley, but it will be Walt Tilley who introduces our special person. Walt, would you please join us? And bring your guest with you too.
As you might have guessed by now, our special guest talking this morning or this afternoon is our exchange student we are hosting this year. If I were to say anything about her, it would steal her thunder. So I'm not. What I'm going to do instead is tell you that the Youth Exchange Program is an enriching program, and we are all enriched by it. It may interest you to know that many of the host families that host exchange students host more than one because they like it so much. Every counselor that I have worked with in this club has been a counselor for more than one student. It's an enriching experience. Do you remember Santiago Mireles? He was our exchange student from Mexico. He was our exchange student from 2019 through 2020. So he was impacted by the pandemic. At the end of his exchange, we were meeting by Zoom, and he brought up a video of one of his favorite entertainers in Mexico, who happened to be a magician. And I watched on the video, the magician was performing on stage, and he began counting, uno, dos, and he disappeared without a trace. Maybe it's time to turn this over to our exchange student.
Oh, hi. So I'll be giving a brief introduction about myself. So my full name would be Jaira Naurisha Vistari, and my friends would call me Hai or Jaira. You can call me either way. And I'm 15 years old, and I'm from Indonesia, and it's basically a country in between the Pacific and Indian Ocean, and it's like a 2-hour plane from Australia. So currently I'm being enrolled in York Suburban. Thank you to Scott Krauser for letting me enroll there. And I have a few activities planned for the year. I have homecoming next week. And because I go to Suburban, they let me in the court, which is for seniors, and they made me go as an honorary member. And I also joined musical, theater, and I also joined Model UN. For a musical, I don't know if I'll be acting or doing crew, but for theater, I'm going to be helping the crew make costumes. And lastly, I'll be thanking my host family, which is currently Sarah White and Stephen Askling, and also thank you to Ashley Etzweiler for being my counselor. Thank you.
Walt, I take it back. You are a special person. Jaira, welcome to our Rotary Club. We're glad to have you as one of our students. We hope you have a great time. If there's anything we can do to support or make this a better experience, please let us know. Let's have another round of applause for our exchange student. Okay, and on with our program, I'd like to introduce our Assistant Governor, Patrick Barry, to introduce our District Governor. Patrick.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for welcoming me and District Governor Fred to your club today. I have the pleasure of introducing our District Governor, Fred Gellert. Fred hails from Detroit, Michigan, and has served 30 years as a U.S. Army officer. He had a teaching assignment to the Army War College, and that's what brought Fred to Pennsylvania in 2012. He now resides in the Carlisle area. Fred retired or left from the Army War College as an Army civilian instructor in July 2023. I wonder why. Fred's journey with Rotary began through his mother, Judy, who was a district governor in District 6380 in southeastern Michigan. Upon moving to Pennsylvania in 2012, he joined Rotary and is currently a member of the Carlisle Sunrise Club. In the club, he has served as the membership chair, as the club president. At the district level, he has served as an area membership chair and later the assistant governor for Group A. He is a graduate of the Rotary Leadership Institute in 2017, which also will be happening this Saturday. He has attended Rotary Zone and international conventions, is a member of the Paul Harris Society, the Polio Plus Society, and is a major donor. Fred holds a bachelor's degree in physics from Wayne State University, a master's degree in astrophysics from Rensselaer Polytech Institute, hope I said that right, and a master's degree in strategic studies from the U.S. Army War College. He has been awarded the Excellence in Teaching and Excellence in Service Awards by the U.S. Army War College and was awarded the Army's PACE Leadership Award by the Secretary of the Army in 2005. Fred and his wife, Donna, have been married for 38 years. They've got 2 adult sons. The oldest is an Army veteran and now a nurse, and the youngest is in the molecular biology research field. Fred is involved in Boy Scouts, teaches firearm safety courses in the local community, is an avid skeet shooter, and enjoys woodworking as hobbies. Please join me in welcoming our District Governor, Fred Gellert.
Well, thanks. The best part of being the district governor, bar none, and I'm sure these 2 past district governors would agree, are these visits, getting out to the clubs, meeting Rotarians and see what all is going on in the district. It's wonderful. It's not all the phone calls. It's not some of the less pleasant hate mail. It's not any of that. It's these visits and getting out and enjoying Rotarians and all that Rotary's doing. And there's no better display than that summary that you just ran through of your last year. That was impressive. Give yourselves another round of applause for last year and all that you accomplished. So it's kind of convenient you went through that because I was going to start with a thank you. On behalf of RI President Gordon and myself as the district governor, thanks. Thanks for being Rotarians. Thanks for serving in your community. Thanks for serving Rotary. Thanks for being part of the York area and all that you do to make this a great place to live and serve. So thanks for that. Thanks for the leadership you provide. There's a number of folks in this club that are serving at district level in various ways, leading with youth exchange and letting that occur, bringing wonderful folks in from across the globe. And I assume you send them out as well, and letting them experience other lands. So on behalf of me, thanks. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for participating in what I have come to call this Rotary journey. It's a wonderful journey. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I did want to mention one other thing. The other thing that I spotted on your website that you ought to be proud of is this over 100 years. Very few Rotary clubs can claim that. I am confident that all the changes that York has seen over that century, you and your predecessors have been a part of. And so don't lose sight of that as well, that this club is a very entrenched part of this community over a long period of time. So awesome. And let's make it a second century. Okay, President Gordon, you've seen things about him in the Rotary magazine. Anybody watched his video when he unveiled his theme for the year? You've seen that on RI. So you can go up on RI's website. It's up there. 3 main things that he's interested in: building peace in all the ways that we can do that as an organization. Mental health is one of his big focuses. I don't want to spoil the very emotional statement of why he's into that. But in short, his younger brother killed himself in his 50s, dealing with depression. And so Gordon is very, very focused on promoting mental health in all the ways that we can do that. And so something to think about at the club level, is there anything you can get involved in this year to work on mental health well-being, yours, the clubs, and the communities. And then lastly, Gordon has spoken about the need for continuity in Rotary. One of the great things about being club president is it's only a year. One of the bad things about being club president is it's only a year, because about the time you got everything humming and you're feeling good and enjoying it, it's about over. And so he recognizes that and wants to ensure that we work also on the continuity in Rotary. And so he commented that he was going to continue some of the initiatives that Sheikh Armeda, past president, came up with, and Jennifer Jones last year, that he was going to try to keep those going. And I agree with that. As an Army guy that's changed locations every couple of years, this idea of continuity is pretty important to me as well. So I'm not trying to stir the pot in the district. There's plenty going on in this district that's going well, and I just want to keep going. All right, so that's our president. If you've not met him yet, take a look at his video. You'll get a sense of who he is, and he's a wonderful man. A couple things about the district. I think overall our district's doing well. I would call us a medium district. We're not small. There are districts that are below 1,000 members, and unfortunately they're on the chopping block and may get absorbed into another district. That has already happened in a couple of districts in our neighboring area, and may have to continue. But we're in good shape. About 1,866 members thus far. We did lose a club last year. I felt terrible about that. So we're down to 41 clubs across the district. I just heard that from the two past district governors, we were once a district of over 50 clubs. So we'll see if we can work on that a little bit. Lots of good things going on in this district. Our RILA program, Rotary Youth Leader Awards, recognized internationally. We have an excellent RILA program. Every June, about 100 or so 11th graders, or completed the 11th grade, get to go and experience a really good opportunity to learn about leadership. So I talked membership decline a little bit. We lost a club. We got a number of vacant positions at district level. If you've got an interest in just about any area you can think of, there's something at district that probably could use your help. And then I will say that I'm aware that youth exchange is in decline a little bit. We're sending out fewer and bringing in fewer. That is a wonderful program that I have personally been involved in at my club level. And so I just raise that to your awareness. You're doing good. But if you can do more, have at it. Or if you can help another club learn how to do this. The two Carlisle clubs have typically paired up on youth exchange. Just makes it a little easier. Each club contributes to that. So maybe something to think about. All right, so that's a little bit about the district. I kept my goals pretty simple this year. A couple main ones. The first is to stem the tide on the membership decline. I just want to get us to net one, just one in the net at the end of this Rotary year. We are one member more than we were when we started. Because for the last 5 or 6 years, it's been less than net one. So I just want to turn that tide. You're doing great. 280, what was the number I heard this morning? 285. You're doing great. You can push to 300. Let's go. And we'll continue to work that throughout the district. Lots of good things going on with service in the district. Lots of fine opportunities to serve our community, and I appreciate all that your club is doing. I have already marked that 22 October ride on my calendar. I'll probably get down here for that. And was there anything else on there? Oh yeah, and raising awareness of Rotary. So one of the things, and this got brought up in your board meeting this morning, but is it getting this idea of out in the larger community that Rotary is here and all the things we're doing. You know, it's funny when I talk to people, and I've sponsored, I think I'm up to 10 people that I've sponsored into my club now. Just pinned one yesterday morning, a new member. But when I talk to people at Rotary, so often they'll say, well, I've heard of it, but what is Rotary? And then I go through the whole spiel of, service organization, that kind of stuff. But anything, we're going to try a few things at district level to try to raise some of that awareness. All right. So I decided my topic for talking to clubs is just sort of the Rotary experience. As I think back to the 11 or so years I've been in Rotary now, and I've mentioned that's the word I've come up with is it's been a journey. I do believe that. And so it's been quite an experience. And that experience has been in 3 areas: serving, learning, and leading. So I want to talk just a few minutes about those and see if I can offer to you a few opportunities to enhance your experience. All right, so the first is serving. You're already doing that. We're doing that across the district. There's just so many projects, grants, fundraising, funds giving going on. It's just wonderful to see all of this. If you have an idea, if you see a need, raise it. So many times these projects are a Rotarian that has an idea and says, hey, I know this need, I'm involved in this. Can we do something about that? And it takes off. It's really cool to watch at the district level and see that happen. We do great work. What is your passion for service? I've asked this year that we focus a little bit on environment. And so things are popping up in the district to do that. I offered a little extra money for those that came up with environment-based project, and 4 clubs took us up on that. And so they're getting a little extra grant money for that. We'll focus our district conference in April on environment, try to help us understand just a little bit our community here, that big river that runs through our district, and those kinds of things. All right, so serving in Rotary, one of those highlights of being a part of Rotary. As part of this, and an example of a Rotarian that had an idea, if you've not heard, the Barnstormers, I know they're a rival of the Revolution, I get that. But just across the river in Lancaster, the Barnstormers are having a Rotary Day this Sunday, and they're going to do it for Maui relief efforts. So the district in Maui will send them whatever money gets raised during that game. It was 2 free tickets. Any Rotarian could sign up. I believe it's 4 now. Is that right, Melissa? Did I see something about 4? Yeah, I think I just saw something. They're letting it go up to 4 free tickets. So Donna and I are going to that on Sunday. If you can join us, great. But that's just another example of serving, and a Rotarian took that idea, Beth, and is running with it. Okay, on November 4th, our annual foundation dinner will occur. Paul, or District Governor-elect Paul, will chair that. It's up in Hershey. And this is really an opportunity to celebrate all that we have done in terms of grants, service projects, both local and global, in a nice, pleasant evening. He's got some entertainment lined up, some music from the Milton Hershey School. And so if you can come to that, I recommend it highly, because you will see some of the great work going on and help us celebrate some just really wonderful projects globally and locally. So it's Hershey Lodge, and just like most things, go on the district website, down in the calendar area, click it, and you can reserve your spot. Okay, learning. I spent a significant portion of my military career teaching, and so learning resonates with me. Lots of opportunities to learn in Rotary. You've already heard mentioned this weekend on Saturday, the Rotary Leadership Institute, 7:30 in the morning to about 3 in the afternoon. It was one of my first experiences that just opened my eyes to the enormity of Rotary. They talk about the foundation, they talk about the structure of Rotary, how clubs fit and all that kind of stuff. They offer opportunities for you to interact with other Rotarians and Rotary leaders, hear what else is going on out there, bring ideas back to your club. If you can't make this Saturday, there's continuing opportunities for this. It's just this one's right here in our district. You got some up in New York and other locations, but you can just Google RLI. We're in the Northeast America division, but you can go to any RLI. And there's a virtual one. I think it's in February that you could sign up for, so you wouldn't have to travel. But I found it to be very educational, very beneficial, especially early on, to help me understand Rotary better and where I fit in that. But this Saturday, right here in the district, pretty easy to get to. Okay, our zone district belongs to a zone. Puts on some events at the end of September. There will be what's called Learning to Lead. It's focused a lot on district level leadership. So district governor-elects have to go to it, that kind of thing. But our zone director, Drew Kessler, a really good man from New York, last couple of years has said, hey, I want this to be open and available and useful to all Rotarians. And so you can see on the list there, they've got a number of breakout sessions, 2 of interest maybe to your club. One is specifically focused on future leaders. So as you've got members that you're looking, maybe they're on committees, you're looking at them potentially being future leaders in your club, that would be a session to get them to. And then the other is young professionals, either people that are already in Rotary or somebody that you're looking to get into Rotary. They got a separate session focused on them. So there'll be a number of us going up there. It's in Toronto this year. So about a 7-hour drive, give or take, to get up there, but another opportunity to learn. I just got back from Alaska a week ago. The zone had a conference up in Alaska. I decided to take myself up there. It was environment focused. It was just a wonderful event, 4 days, powerful speakers. I learned a lot about, and I've been to Alaska before, but I learned a lot about what's going on up in the Arctic, what's going on with people migration, the changing climate, what Alaska is doing in response to all of that, how they're dealing with their native peoples in a very positive governance way. It was excellent. I'm really glad I went. I'm not going to say travel on the American Airlines system was great, but once I was up there in Alaska, I really enjoyed the conference. If there's any idea I can leave you with, it is that Arctic is coming south. So if you start looking at any of this, all that's starting to happen across the globe, it's not just stuck up there in the pole. It's changing weather patterns. It's people are moving. There's a host of things going on that are affecting us right here in downtown Pennsylvania, based on changes that are going on in the Arctic and the Antarctic. Both of the poles are really starting to have global impact. RI conventions. I've been to 2. Both US based, Atlanta in 17, which was the 100th anniversary of our Rotary Foundation. So it was a huge celebration of our Rotary Foundation. And then in 22 in Houston, which was the first coming out of the pandemic, first in person coming out of the pandemic, and a big support to Ukraine was a big focus of that convention. Like any convention, you got all kinds of activities, tons of breakout sessions. The plenary sessions are amazing. They have powerful speakers. I heard in Houston, I heard one of the astronauts that landed on the moon talked. You had people that had started philanthropic projects that Rotary was supporting, talk about what all's going on. Projects of scale, if you've read about those in the magazine, where they take projects that have gone well and then Rotary gives them a few $1 million to scale it up. You had some of those come and talk about what they're doing. It's a really incredible opportunity. So the next one at the end of May is in Singapore. And if you looked at your September Rotary magazine, they have a large article about Singapore in there. I've been to Singapore in 2016. I'm looking forward to going back, but I was very impressed with things having been there, just didn't even realize were going on. I realize Singapore is a long way away. I have made that flight 15 hours from Singapore to San Francisco. But I guarantee you, if you can do this time and money wise, it will be well worth your effort to get there once you're there, both in terms of the convention, but then also seeing Singapore. It's an amazing place. I walked with my work partner and we walked up to what's called Fort Cannon. You got to walk up to the top of this thing. It's an old British fort. Once you get up there and I'm looking out across the ocean and all you see is ships as far as you can see. I mean, it's all this commercial shipping traffic. It's quite an amazing port system there in Singapore. So that's just one of a dozen examples of things that amazed me about Singapore. That was Singapore. All right. Leading in Rotary. So I talked service, talked learning, leading. So these are a few things I've done. I upped some of my giving, made major donors level. I know there's a ton of people in here that are given to the foundation. You guys are doing extremely well, highest in the district last year in terms of your giving, an amazing accomplishment. And thank you for that. Various leadership positions at club and now moved up the district chain. What is it that you want to set for yourself this year in leading? A project, something on a committee, take over a committee, get yourself in the president line. What is it that you want to make a commitment to this year to begin expanding on your leadership in Rotary? There's dozens of examples of ways that you can lead this year or in preparation for next year or whatever you want to do. So think about that this year, because there's just every kind of need you can imagine, from assistant governors to people to get in the governor line and move up and become governors, because we all got to take our turn and serve. So think about that this year. I ask you to do that. What is it that you're going to lead? You are serving very well in this club. Now I ask you to think about what you're going to lead. All right, those are my prepared remarks. I did want to leave some time. I'll take questions, comments, something you want me to understand about York or the club or Rotary. If it's something I need to take back up higher, I'll be glad to do that. That's part of my job as the governor, is to help represent you up to Rotary International level. So questions, comments, concerns? Go ahead. My personal background, where I grew up and stuff. Michigan, grew up in Michigan, a lot of Boy Scout stuff. Michigan, there's a lot of similarities in Michigan and Pennsylvania. There really are, forests and lands and all that kind of stuff. Loved canoeing. That was one of my big things as a kid, loved canoeing. But then I got the bug and joined the Army, and I did 30 years in the Army. So once I left in 1985, I've never lived back in Michigan permanently since then. Landed here in Pennsylvania in 2012. I tell people I didn't grow up in Pennsylvania, but I chose to stay here. I love living here. South Central Pennsylvania to me is just a great home. So I'm very, very happy I landed here. Anything else?
Talk a little bit about at the district level, any DEI initiatives that are going on.
All right, so for sure. So we have a committee got formed last year, the DEI committee. Beth Mamet from the Harrisburg Club is chairing that. One of the things they're already putting together is some tools that can come out to the clubs to help you assess yourselves, look at how you might do things better, differently, that kind of stuff. That's one of the things I'm deeply interested in as the governor, is what are the things that we at district level can do to help the clubs in any number of ways. So yeah, so we have a DEI committee. They're meeting monthly. In fact, I think it's this week is the next meeting. But be looking for, they've got some tools and things, some ways to help you do some assessments and look at yourselves that they're putting together. Thank you for that question.
Good afternoon, and thank you for being here. It was a pleasure to speak with you for a little while in advance of our meeting today. I learned this morning, President Aaron, we have 34 committees, correct? So we're doing a lot of great work. I just wonder if you see any opportunities, focus areas or expansion, or anything that you see as an opportunity for our club, for a district, or for Rotarians across the country.
So the one thing I offered the board this morning, I said, I'm a huge fan of clubs partnering up on things. I love the partnership the two Carlisle clubs do. So if there's anything you can do in that, and I know you've probably done some things in the past, but any bit of that you can do. I've enjoyed that when I get to partner with other clubs in my club, service projects, whatever, fundraising events, community things. We marshal, the Carlisle has a couple of parades, Christmas, Halloween. We marshal those. That's a lot of fun to get out there and just make sure, mostly it's keep the kids from running out into the parade. so anything like that, to me, where you can partner up with the other clubs, it is both, it expands your reach, right? Your impact becomes larger, but your engagement increases as well because you're learning and meeting other Rotarians and what they're working on. That's one. Thanks. Anything else? Sir?
Thanks for being here. Second year of RI president, 10 minutes. One thing we suggested.
Yeah, sure. His question was, if I could tell the Rotary president anything, one thing to help with Rotary, what would that be? It's a great question. So off the top of my head, one of them is we got to start figuring out cost. That if there's one theme I consistently hear both from Rotarians and non-Rotarians, it's, well, this is kind of expensive. True, in some ways. So that's one. I actually am pretty satisfied with Rotary International. So I've, over the last 3 years of this governor run, moving up, because it's a whole process to get you to the governor level. So I've been to training down in Florida. I've been to zone things and I've met President Gordon a couple of times. In Alaska, there was a service project. He was right there with a shovel working on a service project. If there's one thing I'm very happy about with Rotary, Rotary is a good organization. It is well run. They focus as best as they can at keeping costs down, focusing on getting that money that's given to them out, doing good in the world kinds of things. I am very impressed by that. But cost is maybe the one thing that I consistently hear challenges with about getting people in, keeping people, that kind of stuff. I'm going to think more about that question. See, that's a past district governor, right? He's got that experience of like, yeah, hey, you're starting to look at a different level now. You got to start thinking about that. All right. Anything else, sir? Yeah. So his question was about the declining youth exchange program, what's going on, what's being looked at, that kind of stuff. Norm, I'm going to ask you for any thoughts you have in just a moment. So one, of course, is the pandemic, I think, got people out of the routine, right? So that put a big break in some of this. And I think some of this is just building back up. The second is getting host families tends to be a challenge. And so anything you can do to kind of advertise this and encourage people to take on that responsibility. And then third, it's just getting the word out well in advance. Look for good students, who are up and coming freshmen and sophomores who might be good candidates for this program. I think all of those things could help improve that a little bit. Anything you want to add, Norm?
I would agree that I would agree with you. The pandemic had an impact on the initiative because a lot of our publicity for the program came from students who were returning. We had 2 years when we didn't have students returning, and so there was no publicity getting back into schools. Don't worry, it's rebuilding. Okay.
Yep.
We're going to make that happen. Second, host family challenge is correct as well. I agree with you there. Our club, our committee is going to meet a week from tomorrow. And we're going to discuss an innovative new program to recruit host families. And we're going to do it through about 5 school districts in York County. So there's going to be more coming up on that. And I have to vet it to the committee and so forth. But we've got some ideas to recruit host families better than we have ever had before. And so I'm going to be leading that charge. I've taken that on. I've told this club and the board of directors that I would do that and make improvements for us. So we're looking for some new innovative things that may even require some of your participation to help us. But we've got plans.
Great. And that's leading in Rotary. But no better example than that right there. I'm going to take this on and make this better. Thanks for doing that. All right. I'm going to get the hook here. So let me just close by saying thanks. Thanks for welcoming me to the club. Thanks for letting me experience the York Rotary Club for a day. I am so glad I got down here. And I'm going to hang a little bit afterwards if you want to talk any further, but thanks for being on this journey with me.
You know, you say leadership in Rotary is a journey. I couldn't agree more, and I think others of us would support that comment. And I did the math while you spoke, District Governor Fred. Of 1,866 members in the district, our club makes up 15% of district membership. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to make a point. And the point is this. You heard some news that district-wide that we have our challenges. But our club, we not only need to be leaders ourselves, we need to be leaders in the district. We need to be leaders in service. We need to be leaders in membership. We need to be leaders in contribution. And we are a club of leaders and a club of service. Fred, I thank you for your leadership and service to our district, and we look forward to supporting you in the rest of your year. Thank you, Fred. Fred has signed the book plate for The World Needs More Purple Schools by Kristen Bell. That will be donated to the Devers Elementary School along with the bookmark. Wow, I just gave it, I scalped it. From students at Creative York. Sorry, Lynn, totally unintentional. So if you thought that was great, wait till you hear what we have next week. We will have Kelly Miller McKeown of Quattro Apparel, titled From Farm Girl to Fashion Executive. She grew up on a 150-acre dairy farm in Seven Valleys. Kelly learned the value of hard work, determination, and how to be resourceful. She dreamed about creativity in fashion, but had no access to that world. Fast forward some years later, and she's got her degree in fashion merchandising from the Art Institute and fashion design degree from Drexel University. Kelly has designed Olympic apparel for 11 different federations globally, negotiated contracts, partnerships, and licensing deals with Cirque du Soleil, Disney, as well as licensing collaborations with Adidas, Reebok, Under Armour. My gosh, this goes on and on. Point being, Kelly's role at Quattro Apparel as president of North America and global sales here in York includes leadership. And Kelly's words are to think big, dream big, live big, give big, and love big. Having said that, Rotarians, have an amazing Rotarian week. This meeting is adjourned.